Welcome to Moonlight Madness, and today we're doing a reading for fire, sun, moon and rising, and we're using the deck of the Fairy Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. Now this deck is pretty decrepit. I've had it for a very long time, but it has special meaning, and it kind of predicted the floods that we had before we had the floods. And that's the box. Beautiful artwork on it. The illustrations were by Howard David Johnson. Now I got this back in 2014, no 2010. I think it was 2010, it might have even been longer than 2014. And I was trying to figure out where I was going. I didn't know whether to move to Brisbane or stay in Newcastle, and I had this particular dream one night after shuffling this deck. My good friend Tanya was in the dream, and she had her hair short, and we were at a crossroads on a freeway, and she had a sign saying left to Brisbane and right to Newcastle. Now I know these things now. I didn't know how to figure out what was future and what was present and what was past, because I get all of them through the time now. She was pointing left to Brisbane, so on my left shoulder is usually the future. On my right, it's already happened. So it's past, it's already gone by. Castle was past, I was meant to go to Brisbane. And because it was going to flood anyway, is what she tried to tell me. So I moved from a flood back in 2008 with Pasha to another flood in 2011, when we had the big, like a tsunami, water everywhere, flooding. It was huge. And then when I moved back in 2015, I moved back, we had another huge flood, and I happened to be living with my mum at the time. Exactly the same spot that it happened in, exactly the same way as it happened in 2008. I'm beginning to think that I bring huge flood waters to everywhere I go, and to the point that when I wash my clothes, and this, I'm not, no word of a lie, whenever I soak my clothes and then I take them out and go to put them on the line, within 24 hours it rains. And I don't mean just little rain, I mean hail, torrential rain. So I try to pick my days when I'm going to wash. I try to pick my times so that I know my son's not travelling home from work and he's driving the rain, in the pouring rain when it's, it's dangerous. So I try to wash well before that 24-hour period so I know it won't rain. I just started washing about 10 minutes ago. He usually leaves work at 3:15, so I know he's going to be. It takes an hour and 40 minutes for this cycle to go, so he'll be home in time, which is great tomorrow, for tomorrow's weather forecast. Now, the Three of Wands is talking about your ships coming in. You have three opportunities, three types of work that you may be been waiting for. You may have applied to three different jobs in three different areas. It's saying that you have, in 3 days' time, you'll find out which one's going to come up first. It's also got the colour of red. So for me, it talks about passion. It talks about the passion. What you're passionate about is what you have to go after. You've got the Balance card. This is talking about making a logical decision. Someone is making a logical decision about a situation. You may have some type of legal situation going on, and you need to take everyone's input into consideration. Merge viewpoints to create a better solution, and take your time. There's no need to rush. So you may have male and female equal sides of the fence deciding your future, or you're deciding someone else's future that happens to be a fire sign, whether it be a Leo, Sagittarian or Aries. You have to come together and come to a peaceful conclusion in a court case and a ruling that will go in your favour. You have to take time to review the details carefully. It's saying you will win in the end, but you have to take time, make sure you go over with a fine-tooth comb and get your lawyer to speak up for the person you're concerned about, that you're trying to protect. Unity, persistence is key. In the past, you may have joined a group. You may have had a Taurus heavily involved in something in your life, part of this family. Or there's also talking about new approaches to see which works for you. You may have joined a spiritually based community. This can mean online community, or you may have joined a spiritual practice, going to a spiritual church, going online and being part of a spiritual community. And this is saying this happened, it's a Hierophant, so it's spiritual beliefs, and it's a 5 number. We're in 2024 this year, but it's a 5-year for me. I turned 50 this year, so it's definitely a 5-year for me, and that's work related. You may have recently gone through a death, separation through death, or through an argument, and it says to reach out to others for comfort and love. You'll grow stronger from this situation. Sadness that will heal with time. There may have been a death that happened near Christmas. Now, Christmas time does not always represent December. Christmas actually carries right through till December. Through till January. Past January. It goes right up to the end of January, because if we follow the Chinese New Year, it starts in February. That's the right time to start the new year, not the actual January like we do. So it could have happened as early as January, the Christmas period. Now, the Eight of Cups is talking about, in 8 months' time, a desire for a more meaningful life, realising it's time to move on, choosing to make a major life change. So you may have, in 8 months' time, something may happen for you that you may have to move, either move physically, or you may be removed from the earth. And this is not for everyone. It means you may not be here in 8 months' time, so you might want to try and chase up a few loose ends before you decide to leave the building, and that you type all the loose ends: a relocation or job change, a turning point, a spiritual growth, a decision to leave a situation that's no longer in your highest good. You've made this choice on your own. It has not been pushed upon you. It may seem like a relief. You can take small daily steps until the changes you desire are in place, or you can move much quicker. The most important thing is that you evaluate your situation honestly and openly and move towards happiness. Don't worry, you're ready. The fairy has picked up her belongings and chosen a new path for herself. A new dawn awaits you. And then you've got life experience. And this is like a shocking situation. It comes to a shock to most people when this will take place. It's giving me a time frame of 8 months. So in 8 months' time, you may have to prepare for this departure, whether it be physical or spiritual departure. So we've got here 16, the need for significant change, a spiritual awakening, seeing the truth, a wake-up call. Divine is coming in, new opportunity coming your way. Ask the God, the angels, and the fairies to provide signs that you will lead you towards everything that's vibrant and uplifting. Keep your eyes on the future. What transitions do you see coming? How might you plan and prepare in order to continue on your path to happiness? If you watch the skies for coming challenges, you can weather any storm and move on to peaceful horizons. 9 of Pentacles, this is talking about 9 years. So for the last 9 years, you may have been building your online business, spiritual based business, or you've decided to work from home. 9 years ago, you made that decision back when COVID happened and no one could go to work. So like, this is 2024. Yeah, you may have been thinking about this since 2015, making an online presence felt, or working from home, or needing your alone time. So I'm going to look that up to see what further guidance I can find. You might just crave alone time. I know I do. I'm I'm very much an inward type of person. I don't like mixing with lots of people. Yeah, reward yourself a great deal. A little relaxation is coming up for you. Nurturing and peace. Enjoy the fruits of your labour. You've worked very hard. It's healthy to honour yourself in some small or large way as an incentive to keep you forward moving after you earned it. And then you've got, this is interesting, you've got an 8, and then 2 9s, because we've got the Justice card. So we've got the Justice is 8, the 8 of Cups may be significant, and then we've got the 2 9s, the 9 of Swords and the 9 of Pentacles. So endings is what that means, and karmic cycles are being contracted. Your karmic contract with someone is now ending, whether that be a dissolving of a marriage, a dissolving of a relationship, or a dissolving of partnership or a friendship. The contract has been up for quite some time. And then we've got the 9 of Swords. This is to do with nightmares, unfounded fear, focusing on worst case scenarios, allowing worry to grow out of proportion to the problem. She's got the 2 doves She can choose to have that peace, but she reiterates and goes over it in her head because she can't get past the shock of it, or you can't get past the shock of what's gone on, and now all the legal things have to be pulled up or tightened up now. You might be having nightmares and flashbacks and just basically having a hard time of sleeping, having visitations from people that you haven't seen for a long time that you may be thinking about. Justice card is talking about a court case or a court document that you may have to sign, and it's to do with becoming clear on your goals, being an advocate for truth, fair decisions, making well thought out decisions, standing up for what's right, carefully reviewing documents before signing them. This is a time when it's important to stick to your principles. Trust that your opinions are correct, and time will make this evident to everyone. Don't allow someone to talk you out of your beliefs or priorities. Remember that be impartial and objective when asked to make choices that involve other people. However, objectivity must be counterbalanced with compassion. When this card is drawn, you can be assured that situations will turn out in your favour. Your side will be seen clearly in mediation, legal rulings, and decisions made by those in power. Then I pulled the Strength card, which for me, as an Aquarian, which we wouldn't identify as being associated with Leo, because it's the opposite. It's a polar opposite to Aquarians. We are polarized, but we balance each other out. The Strength, and I've got here not the topaz, the Firestone, Tiger's Eye. I've got Tiger's Eye here, and it represents the tiger. So you can be very kind, but don't mistake kindness for weakness. The grace and inner strength needed to overcome challenges, the power of kindness and forgiveness, time to embrace how wonderful you are. Strength is an 11 number, and for me that's a gateway. You may be seeing flashes of inspiration or people that have passed over at 11 o'clock. I got told that in a dream last night. I was shown by a friend of mine I used to live near. She was my best friend, and she was showing me the clock, and she was pointing to what time it was. It was 11 o'clock. I had to do something by the 11th hour. Something may come in, as an old saying goes, at the 11th hour, something will be made known to a court case, court trial, that will come in and shift the entire court case around and save the day. It comes in at the 11th hour, I'm hearing in my head. Okay, now these cards are different. I'm still getting my head around them. I'm navigating how they work. It's by a really cool psychic medium called Rebecca Campbell. She used to go to a women's group therapy. She's a spiritual teacher. I used to go to a women's circle called the Empowerment Group. I got gifted that for doing 6 readings back to back and filming them and sending them off. And that was my payment, which I love because I wanted a new deck. And it seems to resonate with what I kind of look at, how I look at things. So we're going to take some guidance cards now, and how they work is I've made 3 piles. You can see there's 3 piles over here. Now, the first pile is the inquiry cards. I've got a shuffle. The second pile is the action, activation and transmission cards. And the third pile is the confirmation cards. So the inquiry card is the first one I'm going to pull. I'm going to shuffle for you. This is the inquiry. What does fire signs need to be working on right now? What do fire signs need to know about, I guess, future jobs? If you have fire placement strongly in your chart, I have Sagittarian and I have an Aries rising. So I can be quite feisty. And being an Aquarian, even more feisty. We have very fixated views, and you're going to have a really hard time trying to change our minds, because once we've made our minds up, there's no changing it. When we get fired up about something, our logic is there, but our reason is not. We may think it's we may come to a calculated, logical decision, but the emotion will whip that fire. That fire will whip that air into basically having a tower experience, having a huge fight. And what I've pulled, first card I pulled is Answer the Call. That's interesting. Remember I said to you it could be a physical transformation, as in you're leaving the building in 8 months' time, but you weren't listening to the call. The people that have been calling you from the other side, could be for some people, it's a very small group. Okay, so Answer the Call, that's 36. You're calling, it could be, if you're not on death's door, it could be answer a calling, as in answer what you're meant to do in this world, if you had the funding to do it. What is your soul calling you to do? Your guidance is divinely guided. You're being called to answer the call of your soul. It might be scary, it may not make sense, but if you trust your soul's yearnings, you will live a life beyond what your mind could possibly imagine. Answering your soul's calling is not a one-time thing, rather a lifetime long dance. Deep down you already know what you long for, what your soul yearns for. Whatever you're called to do, this is your calling. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for permission, just say yes. Most people are waiting for a step-by-step plan before they take the first step, but intuition doesn't work like that. It takes faith and courage to answer the call of your soul, and that's why most people don't do it, but you are not most people. You are in exactly the right place to answer your calling now. You don't need to know the whole plan. You don't even know where it is leading. You just have to take the next step. No one has ever had the complete perfect plan. There is no end destination. There is no right or wrong way to do it, and you do not need permission from anyone else. Sometimes the more resistance we have around answering a soul calling, the more important it is for you to jump off the building and do it. In so many words. Jump off that ledge into the unknown. Okay, so that was the first card, the inquiry card. The second pile, like I said to you, is combined of action cards, what action you have to take, what transmission cards you're using to transmit into action, and what activation is making an action. So that's quite a handful of things. I didn't separate the three. I thought I'd just take a pick and see what comes out. I think the inquiry was the first one that was important, and the confirmation I felt was more important to know. It's a yes or no card. Do I go left or do I go right? Here we go. The initiation, a rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Some of you may be moving in with someone, as in moving out and moving in with somebody else, and it's shocking to most people. You may shockingly go off and move in with someone, you shack up with someone, which no one ever saw it coming, not even you. The initiation is number 68. It's an action card. So this is your action that you will take. Well, that's something an Aquarian would do, and it could be with an Aquarian. That's what it's saying here. A fellow Aquarian. Crossing the threshold, a rite of passage, cross the threshold. Some of the most sacred initiation chambers and temples look scary from the outside, but are breathtakingly beautiful on the inside. This represents the journey that the soul pilgrim is required to take to reach somewhere sacred, but only the initiated can enter. Perhaps that's where you are right now. You are being tested, initiated, because you are headed somewhere sacred. Initiations require that we cross the threshold from one world or state of being to the next. We're called to face what scares us and have to be willing to lose it all in order to gain a new way of being, of security, of safety, of depth, of meaning. Initiations, the rites of passages, marks the shift from one age to the next and can take place because of emotional turmoil, great loss, grief or devastation, but it is through the seeming sadness and grief that our heart cracks open and our spirit is invested to step forward. We take the sacred voyage into a more of who we are and who we came here to be. It can be painful and scary, but once we begin the journey, we can be more ourselves than ever before. If you are in the middle of an initiation right now, you will get through it. And one day soon, you will bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open. You're going somewhere sacred, it will be worth it, and you're closer than you think. It's a huge card to pull. Okay, now we're going to pull, that's an activation card. This is, I don't know what will activate it. I mean, sorry, the death, the grief is going to activate what you're meant to do next. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Activation, that's an action card. Wasn't it? Initiation, not active. Initiation is an action card. Right. We've had death. Now it's saying you will be taking action on the next step on your journey to answer the call that you're meant to answer. It's a long way to go around to get the message out. Sometimes the spirit comes through in different ways. The age of light. You've been training for this for a lifetime. Age of light. Okay. Age of light is an activation card. So we've got an action card and an activation card. The age of light is 86, and it talks about you've been training for this for lifetimes. Mystics and sages throughout the ages have predicted this period in history, and you decided to incarnate in the middle of it. There is no mistake that you are supposed to be here at this time of great change. If you have ever felt unprepared or daunted by the path that is calling you now, know this: you've been training for this for lifetimes. You're way more than the days that have breathed through you in this life. You're also all of the lifetimes that came before. All of these experiences have polished your soul into the most magnificent expression that is your authentic self. Your soul has many facets. Imagine a fingerprint. Your soul is 1,000,000 times more intricate than that. If you put together all the fingerprints of all the people you have been, you would not even get close to fathoming how much of a unique masterpiece you are. You came in with a clear soul plan. You came in with wisdom beyond your years. This is a part of you that belongs to be seen. This is a part of you that is ready to step forward, that is ready to emerge, that is not a lifetime to stay hidden, but to step forth, be seen, and rise. I call forth the soul gifts and soul training that I have received throughout all of my lifetimes. I am ready to embody them all now without hesitation and without fear. I have been training for this for lifetimes, is what it's saying. So you've been a high priestess in past lives, and see the pyramid above her head? Maybe you can see that, but yeah. You date back to the Egyptian days. You may have been a high priestess that was called upon to guide them in ancient Egypt. I know I had a past life in Egypt. I've always been attracted to things in Egypt. I had a past life in a vision, and I was standing in a temple in my robes of purple, and I was coming out of a bathroom, or it looks like a place where you wash yourself before you get up and give a sermon. And everyone was waiting for me to go up on this stage, and I had to talk about what I was talking about. It was the most vivid astral travel dream I've ever had. A soul family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. So the soul community, your tribe could be the community, as in online community. Ask them for help. Maybe reach out to them to get support on how to control what you do. Soul family. One medium the other day, I think she was on Nouveau, I think it was called the channel, or Lumiere. She talked about some people come into mediumship earlier or later than most, and then when they do, they're freaked out when they see the dead, because the dead comes through to them and talks to them through the daytime hours. Soul family. But she said it'll freak them out because they'll be seeing them and not know what to do with that, because no one else can see them but you. Soul family's 80. Oh, here we go. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Soul family is an action card, another action card. So you've got action, and what was the other one? Activation. Yeah, that's all I'm going to pull. Soul family is calling your support team now. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. It's time to call in your soul family and support team. People who get you at soul level, people who are the same kind of weird as you, people who are your chosen family. They are coming and they are looking for you. If you haven't found them yet, this is a sign that they are close by. But in order for them to find you and recognize you when they do, it is important that you stop dimming your light and truly let yourself be seen. If you've already found them, then you are being called to let them support you, and perhaps also assemble a wider support team. Your support team can consist of all types of people, such as a therapist, a coach, a mentor, or a healer. Tune into what kind of support you need right now. And I have a therapist, and I'm my own life coach. As for healer, I heal myself, but my mentor, I've lost. He's gone offline. Okay, maybe he had some trouble with himself. Not everyone comes into this gift and knows what to do with it, and it can be very overwhelming. for the people that are not used to it. No. It says no. Okay, postponing, right. There may be a possibility of signing a contract with a new job or a new situation. It's saying wait, postpone, pause, and say no. That's a very clear indication. That's all I have for you today for fire sign. I hope this has been helpful to someone out there. If anyone likes the content, please like and share it. And maybe I don't know how to do subscribes now yet. I haven't got subscription up yet. I don't know how to do that. Just like and share it. That would be great. And if you can put a message about what you liked about it, or whether you liked the new setup that I'm doing, leave a comment below. Okay, thanks so much for the fire.